Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So check it out. The D6 Squad has merch now. We got hoodies, tees, mugs, whatever you need. Check it out. Link in the description. What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So J.J. Watt has been released by the Texans. And that's kind of a tough story. I mean, he's been on the Texans his whole career. He was someone who fans booed. He said in his video earlier today, they booed him when he drafted him. But shortly after that, J.J. Watt became the truth. Nothing but the truth. I mean, listen, J.J. Watt bust onto the scene. He was getting like 20 and a half sacks, 18 and a half, 17 and a half, 20. He was basically the best player on defense in the league by far. Everything that they say about Aaron Donald right now is what J.J. Watt was. And on top of that, he was catching touchdowns. I know y'all remember him catching touchdowns. I think that was 2014 or 2015. He caught like 5 or 6 touchdowns. He returned 2, I think, interceptions and fumbles and stuff for touchdowns. I think he had about 8 touchdowns for the season, or maybe a little bit less than that. It might be hyperbole at this point. But I remember that season Aaron Rodgers won MVP, and it should have been J.J. Watt. I mean, I had never seen someone elevate their team from a defensive end position. I mean, I'm not old enough to remember Lawrence Taylor, but I just imagine that that's probably something that Lawrence Taylor did better. But I can't really think of anybody else from a defensive end position, and then getting in on offense too, that was really able to change the outcomes of these games almost single-handedly. So J.J. Watt already has a Hall of Fame career. He's already one of the top pass rushers in NFL history. I don't know how he is stats-wise because he started to fall off with these injuries in the second half of his career. But, eye test shows you everything, that he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Now, he's released. Props to him on a great career with the Texans. But should the Giants be looking to sign someone like him? I'm not sure. It depends on what his price is. If he's at that 5, 6, 7 million range, then you start to look. But, I mean, you got to think that he wants to go to a contender, first off. And then you look at the Steelers, where T.J. Watt is. Does J.J. Watt want to play with his brother on the Steelers? That is something, I mean, if you're a veteran at the end of your career, you're already, in the Hall of Fame pretty much. I'm pretty sure you would consider playing with your little brother on another team, that he's on if you were happen to get cut. So that's something that they definitely, that's something that he's definitely going to consider. I mean, I can only imagine how crazy exciting that would be to be able to play on the same team as your brother. So if J.J. Watt somehow didn't play with T.J. Watt on the Steelers, and on top of that, he somehow didn't want to go to a contender, a top tier, Super Bowl contending team like the Chiefs or the Bucks, or one of these teams that they think are going to be able to go all the way. If he doesn't do that, then the Giants will be on the market for him. I mean, like I said, if it's 6, 7 million, that's a solid sweet spot. 8 to 10 million kind of cuts it close, because then it's like, do you want J.J. Watt? Do you want Dalvin Tomlinson? Is J.J. Watt the same guy? He's coming off of a 5-sack season. 4 the year before. He played 8 games the year before in 2019, and he got 4 sacks. Now, he played all 16 games this year in 2020, and he was able to get only 5 sacks, which is ridiculous for someone like J.J. Watt. But I would have to look at the tape to see, if he was still the same guy as far as getting pressure, as far as, having to command that double team and a bunch of attention every single week. I would have to look back at that. But 5 sacks is kind of alarming for a guy that gets, that regularly was getting over 17 sacks. So that's something to definitely look at. And if he's worth, dumping a young, up-and-coming defensive tackle who's at the end of the day is a run-stuffing guy, but is very elite at run-stuffing in Dalvin Tomlinson, do you dump him? Do you let Leonard Williams go, sign J.J. Watt, and then, go pick up another pass rusher with the money that you will pay for Leonard Williams, $20 million? There's a lot of ways you can go with this. Do you say, I'm not giving J.J. Watt 8 to 10 million or 12 million. I'm just going to save this, and I'm not going to sign Leonard Williams, and I'm just going to go out and sign A.J. Bouye and I'm going to go out and sign, someone like Shaq Barrett. So there's a lot to think about with this J.J. Watt free agency signing. But I'll say this. If for some reason we bring back Leonard Williams and Dalvin Tomlinson, or we get someone comparable to him in free agency or the draft, and there's Leonard Williams there, there's Dexter Lawrence there, and there's J.J. Watt rotating in and out, on both sides, and that outside linebacker, which I think he could probably do in a pinch, this team is going to look ferocious. This defense is going to be out of this world crazy. It's going to look crazy. J.J. Watt, even at this age, first off, immediate locker room help immediately. He immediately makes your locker room better, and I mean as far as the pass rushers and as far as their technique. People like Lorenzo Carter are going to learn. Zimenez is going to learn. Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson if he's here. Leonard Williams will learn. Everybody's going to learn from someone that's this great with his hands, that's this great at getting to the quarterback. This is someone who basically everybody will want in the entire league as a defensive line coach or an outside linebacker, pass rusher coach. Everybody will want someone like J.J. Watt who did it at such a high level, and you get him at an age where he might still be able to give you a double-digit sack season, and you get him in the locker room as a coach. So that is something that the Giants would have to consider if they want to bring him in. Another thing is he can line up pretty much anywhere but nose tackle. And that's been the strength of his career. He's lined up at edge rusher as a 4-3 kind of edge rusher. They've never really played a 4-3, but he's lined up at that same spot. He's lined up outside the tackle. He's lined up, standing up on the edge. So he can pretty much play everywhere. And, I think J.J. Watt has never been on a team that has gone to a Super Bowl. He's never been on a team, with that, long-standing credibility like the Giants. There's two sides to this. The Giants are going to have that credibility, that name, that, big market for someone who's going to be a Hall of Famer. So if he comes here and, does anything, the deals are going to start, really coming in, even more than the Texans. But if, on the other hand, I'm not sure if J.J. Watt, if he signs a one-year deal with the Giants, is going to be able to play in a Super Bowl. Let's be real. We're in a rebuild. We should be trending up. We should be a team that's looking to make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs. But are we a Super Bowl contender yet? And J.J. Watt looking at these teams that aren't really there yet, or that, it's an outside shot for them to make the Super Bowl, that's going to be a huge thing when he's looking at teams to sign to, because J.J. Watt, the only thing he's missing from his career is a Super Bowl. That's literally the only thing he's missing. So I think J.J. Watt will be a solid signing for the right price. If we can bring the right guys back around him, if we do something like bring back both of our free agent defensive linemen and get J.J. Watt on a deal, I'd be happy with that. As far as the defense, I feel like at that point the pass rush takes the next step. Even with the limited J.J. Watt, it'll take that next step. And, things will go crazy. But you guys let me know what you think about J.J. Watt being a free agent, what you think about his career in general, and do you think that he should be wearing Giants blue soon? So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 Squad member. If you're a D6 Squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.